Hey, good evening, Jeff Mullins, guys, here with you a little bit later than anticipated today. I thought I could get to you guys earlier today, but I'm here. And in the words of the immortal Jackie Gleason of Honeymooners fame and the Jackie Gleason show, which I watched as a kid, maybe some of you did as well. How sweet it is, Knicks fans. How sweet it is. Um, Boy, I was sitting watching that game last night. I had doubts about the Knicks pulling that game out, but again, the grit, the desire, the fortitude. You can rip off all of the adjectives you want, but it really showed that the Knicks' experience in this playoffs really showed the difference between a young team and a team that was pieced together, okay, by Leon Rose, and not in many Knicks fans' favor. I believe that a lot of Knicks fans didn't think that Leon Rose was making a right moves by bringing all these guys together, but the experience showed, and the Spurs cannot finish. They can't finish yet, and you're a good team. You become a great team when you can finish. A lot of good teams finish, but they don't reach that greatness yet. But you truly become a great team when you can finish games, and that's what the Spurs have to do. And they're not there yet. They have all the ingredients, they have all the players to do that, but they haven't done it yet. I think they will. They will get there eventually. They have a good enough base there. And how about the kid Harper from Don Bosco and Rutgers? What great young stud he is. I mean, he has to work on his shot a little bit, but he goes to the rim. He can go to the basket strong. He's 6'5". He jumps out of the gym. I thought that was a big key for the Spurs, being able to keep him in the lineup as much as possible. And I think if the Spurs can do that next year, get rid of Fox, but they just signed him to a contract. But get him in the rotation and drop down Fox, and you're going to have, I think, more success because there's a lot of firepower there. The Knicks, again, I said it a while ago. They were destined to win, and they did. They won that, and I thought when they swept the Sixers, they were going to win this thing. They were destined to win this thing. They were, it was looking that good. But just to bring up one fact, you heard enough about the Knicks the last 24 hours, and everything thrown out there. But just one point here. Think about this. Think about how this team with Towns, Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, and who am I missing here? Josh Hart. Josh Hart came over in 2023. Kind of quietly came over in a trade. But the rest of those four, the other four, okay, people really didn't think too much about them. There was a lot of backlash about the Towns trade. They gave up Randall. They gave up Dante DiVincenzo, who was really coming into a role with the Knicks at that time. Okay, there's a lot of people that were down on the Towns trade. And then when Towns comes into the Knicks and he starts playing like he does, he's standing outside, he's not going into the paint. The big criticism on him last year in the Celtics series, what can't go down in the paint. He's staying outside, he's shooting a three. Okay. There was Brunson, who just, people didn't know too much about Jalen Brunson when he came over here. He was a point guard in Dallas. He was teaming up with Luka Doncic down low there. And, there was a lot of question marks about this guy, Brunson, that he was coming in. Okay. Bridges, five draft picks for Bridges. A lot of criticism. Okay. Is this guy who is worth 5 draft picks, and for a guy who is not seen as a star in this league? That was a real head scratcher at the time. Okay. And Anunoby comes over from Toronto for RJ Barrett. A lot of backlash with that deal. He had won a ring in Toronto. He had an appendicitis there when they were in the finals, when they won their championship. So here was 4 really not unknown, but 4 questionable guys coming into the lineup. But how are they going to mesh? The Knicks basically restructured that whole team. They restructured that whole team to bring these guys in. And it worked. It worked. It took some time, but it worked. I think Tom Thibodeau should get a ring. Tom Thibodeau should get something out of this. He's the guy he was the architect behind it. And Leon Rose, under a lot of criticism, bring it up again, when they fired Tibbs, a lot of criticism, a lot of backlash. People thought they shouldn't have done it. But Leon Rose knew something. Maybe he just took a flyer on this. He just took a chance. We don't know yet for sure what happened, what he did. But maybe he did take a flyer on this and just decided to make Mike Brown the coach. Here's another one. Here's another piece of the puzzle. Mike Brown. Jalen Kidd is beloved in New York for what he did with the Nets. Okay. Everybody wanted Jason Kidd. Everybody wanted him to come in and be the next head coach of the Knicks. There were other candidates as well too. Billy Donovan was available. He was going to be the guy. But Kidd was supposed to be the guy the Knicks were trying to work out something to get him out of that contract. They went through a couple of different other options. Okay, they couldn't get Kidd, as it turned out. And here comes Mike Brown. And again, another chunk of criticism directed towards Mike Brown. Was Mike Brown going to last? He had to win. He was under the gun. Okay. What does he do? He wins a championship. Destiny, my friends, destiny. That's the only thing you can explain with this. Everything fell into place. And again, the coach at the end, the coach that nobody wanted, comes in. He was under that. There was a lot of under the assumption that if he didn't win everything this year, he's going to get fired. And what does he do? He wins everything. Amazing. So this is a team of destiny. I don't know if the Knicks win it next year, but who cares? They won it now. They have it now. They have the championship. The long-awaited championship is here. Did a great Joe Benigno. I'm very happy for him that they won this thing, and because he is a diehard Knicks fan, and he long suffering, and the guy actually suffers. Joe Benigno actually suffers. I'm very happy for Joe, and he won this title. The Spurs, like I said, they gotta grow up, and I think Wemby has to mature as a person and a player. He's 22. He had an awful post-press conference. You could tell he doesn't handle failure well. And in this case, the mega failure of losing a NBA championship. He has to grow up and mature a little bit. And he will. I think the Spurs should maybe make a phone call to Kareem and have him come in and work with him. Some of the big men that are still out there and still alive. Choose Kareem, choose some other people that are still out there, and talk to him about the game. Okay? Talk to him about the game and what he has to do to grow up. Because he can be a force. If he gets a sky hook or any kind of patent shot down in the paint, how are you going to stop this guy? You're going to foul him, but he goes to the foul line and he's not under pressure. He makes his foul shots. The Spurs, again, weren't physically fit. They weren't physically seasoned like the Knicks were. When Thibodeau was here, he made sure that team was in shape because those guys were logging a lot of minutes. The starters were logging a lot of minutes. Tibbs didn't play the bench. And the Knicks stayed in shape. They were in shape this year. They were in better shape. Wemby looked tired. That Spurs team looked always gassed in the fourth quarter, hanging on, trying to throw up threes, bad shot selection. Okay. The Spurs have to grow up. Wemby has to mature as a person and a player, and he will be the poster boy replacing LeBron probably next year, but a lot of off-season work with him. Get him in there, get a lot of off-season work with him, okay? Wrapping this up, happy birthday, Mr. President. Whether you're pro-Trump, you're anti-Trump, respect the office of the president, okay? Like I've told you here, I don't like to delve into politics. Sports and politics do not mix. It's oil and water. It's not a good mix, okay? But hey, let's support the office of the president, okay? A positive note about Trump, and all indications, it looks like the Iran war is over and our gas prices will come down, okay? Whether you're in South Carolina where I am, or you're in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state area, Philadelphia, down south, let's look for the gas prices to come down since this conflict with Iran appears to be over, okay? And that's a good thing. That's a good thing for all of us, okay? Especially if you're a senior citizen, when you're dealing with these high prices of food and gas and everything else you're dealing with, and you're trying to juggle your budget. And I know that personally. It's not easy, okay? A couple of things in parting here. How about it was 50 years ago, and I remember being in my friend Jim Schiffert's house and listening to the debut album of Boston, More Than a Feeling. What a great album. It actually debuted in, I guess it was September 76. I thought it was more in the summer, but I saw September 76. But what a great album. So if you're in that high 50s, 60s range, you remember Boston well when they came out in 1976. Really shocked the rock and roll world. This debut album that was sensational on all fronts. A lot of good tunes on that album, but it was 50 years that Boston debuted and made their stand, took their place in rock and roll history. Finally, just watched it on TV in front of me here. Carolina Hurricanes win another Stanley Cup. What a great job. What a great stands for hockey in the South. Tampa Bay's been a force. Now Carolina's a force. Congratulations to the Hurricanes and anybody out there listening. My friend TJ Engel, a transplant too. TJ and his son Wyatt, big Hurricane fans. Okay, so in closing here, hey, Knicks fans, remember Gleason's line, how sweet it is. And it's sweet for you, and enjoy it. Carolina Hurricane fans, take it in. Enjoy that moment as well, okay? Hopefully the Iran conflict is over and our gas prices are coming down. So that's another good thing here on a Sunday evening. And now you can shift your attention to baseball. The NBA draft's coming up soon. That's right around the corner. And football's right around the corner. College football is even closer than we think. But, think about what the Knicks did. That 73 team, now you got the 73 team, the 26 team. Which team is the best team? A lot of debate. I still like that 73 team. I think they were a little bit deeper coming off that bench. But this Knicks team, enjoy the moment. It was a great ride, and you may not probably see a ride like this again for a long time in the NBA or in any sport. Thanks again for watching. Give me a click. Give me a subscription. Try to come back with you tomorrow. Again, kind of shift gears since we're through the NBA season. And most of all, stay safe out there. Make the right choices. And I'll talk to you very soon. Take care.